Good morning. My name is Robert Velasquez, and I was given word by Yahweh uh, between 2003 and 2004. It was a period of a year. Within a year's time, he gave me 29 scriptures to give to for myself, words of instruction, and words to the believing body. And Jeremiah 23:28 says that the prophet that has a dream, let him tell the dream. And he that has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. And the reason I'm just getting to give you the word is because I was sent off to give the word to those in exile for 12 years. And now he has provided the means by which I can give the word to everyone else. We must remember the Shema. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our Eloah, Yahweh is one. Shema means to hear. Hearing is with the ears, but listening is with the mind. Luke 8:18 tells us, therefore consider carefully what you hear and how you listen. Mark 4:24, consider carefully how you listen. Judges 19:30, think about it, consider it. Mark 7:16, if anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. John 8:47, he who belongs to Elohim hears what Elohim says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to Elohim. Deuteronomy 6:4, hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our Eloah, Yahweh is one. And I wanted to give that first off. And the word he gave me was a 29 scripture message. And these 29 scriptures were given to me with a lot of, it was instructions first off. The first 12 scriptures were instructions for me. The 13th scripture was a prophecy for the United States, and the next 12 scriptures were for the believing body, and the remaining 4 were further instructions for me. And the way he revealed himself to me just prior to giving me this message was with numbers. And I'm not talking numerology. I'm talking number in Scripture, which has a symbolic meaning. And I'm sure many are aware of that. And if there are those who don't know or aren't aware, look up E.W. Bullinger. He was a believer just prior to the 20th century, and he wrote a book about it, Number in Scripture and its Symbolic Meaning. And this is a book that I had to obtain myself in order to find out what the Father had for me, because many numbers were suddenly coming up in my life, and one of the main numbers that came up was the number 29. The number 29 is, if you look up in Scripture, it means judgment. Okay, and I have all the numbers written down that he provided in his book, and plus, after studying his book, I managed to research myself and found out many other numbers that he didn't feel was necessary to include in his book, but and subsequently I decided to add them on to the list that I made up. But the number 29 uh, means judgment, just like everybody knows the number 7, divine completion or divine perfection, the number 8, new life, new beginnings, the number 23, death. Okay, very significant numbers. Uh, and I have gotten examples but that's another study that I'm going to be giving as time passes, or if Yahweh permits, because the time is very short. This, uh, let me go ahead and give the message without further ado, so that everyone and can hear the message. I'm going to give it in. I'm going to give it starting at the prophetic scripture, and it's the number 13. The number 13 signifies, actually, in number in scripture, the symbolic meaning for number 13 is rebelliousness. Okay, and that scripture, that prophetic scripture that he gave me, was in Jeremiah 51, 13 and 14. If you read Jeremiah 51, he's talking to Babylon, or talking about Babylon, and excuse me. And the Jeremiah is the 13th scripture that he gave me, was for Jeremiah 51, 13 and 14, and it says, "You who live by many waters and are rich in treasures, your end has come, the time for you to be cut off. Yahweh El Shaddai has sworn by himself, I will surely fill you with men as with a swarm of locusts, and they will shout in triumph over you." This is a scripture that was given for the United States. Uh, Obviously, if you know the United States, we are surrounded by waters, and it says, "You who live by many waters and are rich in treasures, your end has come." It says, so the United States is surrounded by waters. The Atlantic Ocean over on the east coast, the Pacific Ocean on the west coast. We have the Gulf of Mexico in the south of the United States. The Great Lakes are up north, dividing us from Canada. And we are quartered by great, mighty rivers. So, yes, we do live by many waters and are rich in treasures. Okay, and we have been one of the richest nations, agriculturally, minerally, whatever. We've been one of the richest, and he's telling us that our end has come, the time for us to be cut off. And he said, "I will surely fill you with men as with a swarm of locusts, and they will shout in triumph over you." My understanding came to be that we are going to be attacked by a great many nations, and they're going to be victorious over us. And As far as any time, I'm not here to let you know, to tell you of a certain time. This is the next scripture. Let me go on and to tell us that now, 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 through 3. Now, brothers, about the times and the dates, we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of Yahweh will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come upon them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. So that there goes the time. I'm not going to let you know because he didn't reveal the time to me. But obviously, we do know that the time is short. The next scripture he gave me was Hosea 13, 12 through 14. The guilt of Ephraim is stored up, and his sins are kept on record. Pains as of a woman in childbirth come to him, but he is a child without wisdom. When the time comes, he does not come to the opening of the womb. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. The next scripture was 1 Corinthians 15, 51 through 55. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed. In a flash, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? Isaiah 26, 20 through 21. Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until his wrath has passed by. You see, Yahweh is coming out of his dwelling to punish the people of the earth for their sins. John 14, 1 through 3. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in Yahweh. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. 1 Thessalonians 5:9. For Yahweh did not appoint us to suffer wrath, but to receive salvation through our Messiah, Yeshua. Revelation 6:1. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, Come. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17. For Yeshua himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel and with the trumpet call of God. And the dead in Messiah will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Yeshua in the air. 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 3. Concerning the coming of Yeshua Messiah and our being gathered to him, we ask you, brothers, not to be easily unsettled or alarmed by some prophecy. For the day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6 through 8. And now you know what is holding him back, so that he may be revealed at the proper time. For the secret power of lawlessness is already at work. But the one who now holds it back will continue to do so until he is taken out of the way, and then the lawless one will be revealed. 1 Corinthians 2, 10 through 14. But Yahweh has revealed it to us by his Spirit. The Spirit, or Ruach, searches all things, even the deep things of Yahweh. We have not received the spirit of the world, but the Spirit of the Father, that we may understand what Yahweh has freely given us. The man without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of the Father, for they are foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them because they are spiritually discerned. Hebrews 3, 7 through 8, and 4, 11. So as the Ruach HaKodesh says, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as you did in the rebellion during the time of testing in the desert. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest so that no one will fall by following their example of disobedience. John 8:31-32. If you hold to my teachings, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And those were the subsequent 13 altogether scriptures that he gave me. The rest were instructions for me and what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to remain faithful. So in giving this message of judgment, I'm taken to Revelations chapter 14, verses 6 through 7. And Revelations chapter 14, verses 6 through 7, it says, Then I saw another angel flying in midair, and he had the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who live on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. He said in a loud voice, Fear Elohim and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the springs of water. And the hour of his judgment is come. And I was thinking of giving another study, but I was going to give confirmation of the message or the scripture, the 13th scripture, Jeremiah 51, 13 and 14. I received, actually another brother received this letter from a ministry about a Dimitri Duduman. He was a minister, and he is a minister, or was. I'm not exactly sure if he's still alive, but he was from Romania. According to the letter, he had already died. He passed away, but upon doing some research here and Googling, I see that he's still alive. But he had a vision, and this vision was about being attacked by China and Russia, which pretty much says about what Jeremiah 51, 13 and 14 says. Let me read the vision that I received from this ministry, and I believe you can also Google the same man, Brother Duduman, Dimitri Duduman, and let me read you what his vision said. I prayed, then I went to bed. I was still awake when I heard a trumpet sound. A voice cried out to me, Stand. In my vision, I was in America. I walked out of my home and began to look for the one who had spoken to me. As I looked, I saw 3 men dressed alike. 2 of the men carried weapons. One of the armed men came to me and said, I awoke you to show you what is to come, he said. Come with me. I didn't know where I was being taken, but when I reached this certain place, he said, Stop here. A pair of binoculars was handed to me, and I was told to look through them. Stand there, don't move, and look, he continued. You will see what they are saying and what they are planning for America. As I was looking, I saw a great light. A dark cloud appeared over it. and I saw the president of Russia, a short, chubby man, and then I saw a short, chubby man who said he was the president of China, and also two others. The last two also said where they were from, but I did not understand. However, I gathered that they were part of Russian-controlled territory. The men stepped out of the cloud. The Russian president began to give to the Chinese one, I will give you the land with all the people, but you must free Taiwan of the Americans. Do not fear, we will attack them from behind. A voice said to me, watch where the Russians penetrate America. I saw these words being written, Alaska, Minnesota, Florida. Then the man spoke again, when America goes to war with China, the Russians will attack without warning. The other two presidents spoke, we too will fight for you. Each had a place already planned as a point of attack. All of them shook hands and hugged. Then they all signed a contract. One of them said, we're sure that Korea and Cuba will be on our side too. Without a doubt, together we can destroy America. The president of Russia began to speak insistently. Why let ourselves be led by the Americans? Why not rule the world ourselves? They have to be kicked out of Europe too. Then I can do as I please with Europe. The man standing beside me, this is what you saw. They act as friends and they respect the treaties made together. But everything I have shown you is how it will really happen. You must tell them what is being planned against America. Then when it comes to pass, the people will remember the words Yahweh has spoken. Who are you, I asked. I am the protector of America. America's sin has reached Elohim. He will allow this destruction, for he can no longer stand such wickedness. Elohim, however, still has people that worship him with a clean heart as they do his work. He has prepared a heavenly army to save these people. As I looked, a great army, well armed and dressed in white, appeared before me. Do you see that? The man asked. This army will go to battle to save my chosen ones. Then the difference between the godly and the ungodly will be evident. And I received this confirmation of the word that Yahweh gave me in 2009, And with that, I'm going to sign off for now, and I'm going to get together another stream of studies to give.